Hey everybody, this is Rob Coody of the MLM Solution. How you doing today? Today is Tuesday, January 26th. It's hard to believe January is almost over with. It's currently 10:57 and 11 seconds after Eastern Standard Time. As you know, Monday through Friday, we go live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, covering all subjects in network marketing, the good, the bad, and yes, even the ugly. We talk about things no one else will touch with a 10-foot pole. We do that to help you so that you know how this business model works and you can use this business model to change your life. Forgive the mess in the background. As you know, we're moving and we're packing stuff left and right. And so things are kind of in a disarray. That being said, today's subject matter is going to be a good one. Luke is at my leg here. Today's subject is going to be, it's number 118, responding to a new partner's question. Sometimes when people join you, they ask tough questions after they join you, and they can be so frustrating. They can get off track and not stay focused on what needs to be done. And sometimes they can ask really tough questions, which could derail the relationship. How do you handle those? If you don't know how, join us as we will discuss that in the upcoming episode. That being said, I'm going to hop off here. If you will, utilize hashtag the MLM Solution, hashtag the MLM Solution to help our fellow network marketers get access to this wonderful information. They too want to use this business model to change their life. So help us out in reaching out to them and helping them. Thank you in advance for doing that. With that being said, I'm going to hop off here. We'll see you in a moment.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Coody.
Hello, Miss Marie. How are you today? How are you?
Good morning, Rob. I am doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. I don't know about you, but it's hard to believe that it's 26 already.
I know. We're in the last week of January, man. Month is almost gone.
Oh, man.
So it's about that time of year when everybody's given up on their New Year's resolutions, or they've decided to stick with it and they're going to do it long term.
Hey,
so
I'm losing weight just as I had set out to do. The wife and I are eating better. We had some ice cream the other day, which is the first time in a long time we've had some. And I'm not snacking near as much as I did. Not that I was a big snacker, but as you know, sometimes I stay up late in the evening and I get a little bit hungry and I'll have a snack, which is not good that late in the evening. And at this age, and with my arm being the way it is and not being as active, it's easy to put on weight when you're snacking like that, right? So believe it or not, I think you can see it in my face a little bit where I'm starting to get a little thinner there. And I'm certainly losing weight very quickly, I might add. So I think the movement is helping with that.
It's funny you say that because I got my hair cut last week, and when I went and saw the stylist, she's like, "It looks like you've lost weight in your face." And I was like, "Yeah," and that's where I was trying to lose weight in my face.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
Well, yes, that is so funny. That's awesome. I like that. I remember that. Well, I mean, I notice it in my face, especially right up in here. I'll start losing it there first. For me to notice it, of course, I'll notice in the mirror too. Not that I look at myself, but when I get out of the shower, it's kind of hard to not see myself. But the thing is that I'm tickled pink with that. And to be honest with you, Miss Marie, is like I said, the wife and I, I didn't eat breakfast or lunch. I had a small brunch, I guess you would say, but I'm eating meat and cheese in small portions, nothing fatty. For our chips, we're eating pork rinds, which have no carbs at all. And so, we're being selective. Yogurt, if I do have breakfast, bananas, apples. So you can see that, we're doing the right things and consistently.
That's awesome. Did I ever tell you about the time I lost 180 pounds?
Where'd you find it?
Well, I dumped the guy I was dating. He was a jerk. So
Oh, there you go. I knew it had something to do with some person, but that's awesome. Well, that was a good one. That was weight worth losing, I'll tell you. That's awesome. I like that.
That's what they call dead weight.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Oh, boy. Anyway, going up and down those stairs with those boxes, as you can imagine, we're doing that almost on a daily basis. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of exercise.
I was going to say that's a good workout. That's like a combination weightlifting Stairmaster thing. Who needs a gym membership when you're moving?
I know, right? Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're doing a lot of bending over, a lot of packing. So, I mean, anybody that's moved knows what we're talking about. So, we're doing a lot of activity. We're doing it every day. And as we told you, as you and I talked the other day, a lot of stuff that we did not know. But Goodwill is benefiting, that's for sure. Okay. All right. So today's subject, Miss Marie, is a good one. It is, guess what? We need to get that off of there. 119. We're almost at 120, Miss Marie. We're 1/5 of the way to 200. The number 200.
I'm excited about hitting episode 200. I know.
I know.
I'm going on.
I know. And the algorithm for our YouTube channel, which really pissed me off. I was on it the other day, and we had picked up like 9 new subscribers, right? And people tell you, now I'll follow YouTube experts, because I need to learn the little things here and there. And as you know, I migrated a lot of our stuff over to Rumble. And but it takes a lot to move that much material, Miss Marie. It takes, some of our shows are an hour long, and those are big files, and they take a long time to load up. It's not like I can just, like that. Sometimes you can get 4 or 5 done in a day, and that's about all. And so anyway, the thing is that as I continue to migrate over to Rumble so that we can make that complete transition, there are people that talk about the algorithms being changed if YouTube wants to mess with your, they decide they change the algorithms all the time. This is not a tutorial. And I was like, okay, I've not really seen evidence of that, blah, 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 blah. Well, the other day, which I was excited, I saw we had a bunch of new subscribers. And I looked at it, and it was on the mobile phone, and I was reviewing some of our videos because it's my side, me, not you.
Whichever side I'm on.
Yeah, not you. Yours is always clear, but mine gets all smeary. And it's because of my internet connection. My router's way in there. So anyway, the point is I'll watch it, and so I can make adjustments, right? Because I don't want that to happen. It should be you and I see each other clearly. That's not how it comes across. And so as I was looking there, I was looking and I saw that we had a bunch of new subscribers. And I was like, okay, that's cool, because I knew things were picking up and I knew the numbers, And so I go and look again later and they're gone. And it's not the first time that YouTube's done that to our channel. And if you go and do a search, you will read where people are all pissed off because Google will take away, or YouTube will take away subscribers for whatever reason. They have all kinds of different reasons. And so it really pissed me off. But we're reaching people, Ms. Marie. We're getting new subscribers, but they'll scrub them and take them away. Now, how crazy is that?
Hopefully the folks will find their way back to us again.
Well, it doesn't mean that they won't watch us,
Right.
But it's not like you and I stole them. It's not like we went to somebody else's channel and hijacked them,
Right. Or we're buying listeners or subscribers or anything like that, because that doesn't do anybody any good. So why? Yeah.
But here's the thing. We had a bunch of new subscribers. Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, despite the fact that YouTube took them away, screw tube, as I call them. All right. So in other words, the whole reason I brought that up, that validated these concerns people had, the algorithms changing, taking subscribers away and not promoting your videos and this and that. So, but I did see where they were promoting our videos, because when I logged onto YouTube, there we were staring me right back in the face, and I would click on it and make sure everything was working. So there you go. All right. With that being said, today's an interesting subject. Number 119, responding to a new partner's question. You might be asking yourself, what in the world are you guys talking about? Excuse me. That came out of nowhere. Well, here's what we're getting at, guys. Look, you know what? You go through the whole step of prospecting, and we talked about this in an episode not too long ago. There's a difference between prospecting. There's a difference between recruiting. Each one of them is a different phase. The sign-up phase, we clarified those phases so that you guys know what each and every one of those are. The complete difference, or the major differences between those steps, and why those differences are important to you. You need to know what each and every step is, because it helps you to be a great recruiter, all right? A great prospector. And there's a difference between prospecting and recruiting. Completely different approaches, two completely different modes of operation. And they are part of the whole sign-up process, okay? Business building process. But the thing is, you need to know that they are a part of what we're talking about here, which is why I bring them up. What do you mean, Rob? Well, responding to a new partner's questions means that you went through the prospecting, you went through the recruiting process, and then you went through the sign-up process, and you completed each one of those successfully to where now they are a new partner. With that being said, you're asking yourself, okay, well, how can it be a bad thing? That should be a great thing. It is. It is. And you know what? You get them trained, as we told you, if you follow our training guidelines, within a couple of hours, no later than one day, they should be completely trained. The only thing that they have to master is the music to the ears message. If they follow the 5 simple steps that we teach you guys in our brochures, like right here, there they are. Step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, and 5. If you just get that flyer by itself right there, that's probably the most effective promotional tool that we have, because that's exactly what we do. 5 simple steps to networking success in 90 days or less. And there they are, laid out right there. Okay, you can't get any better than that. We teach the basics. Our number one goal is to teach you the business building basics, period. Okay, and you say, well, why is that important? Because guess what? You can teach your new people within the first 2 hours, the really sharp ones, the ones that really want it. And for those that are busy, no later than one day, right, Miss Marie? Would you agree with that?
I do agree. And the quicker you can get people working, the better.
That's right. There it is.
The whole goal is to get them that first check, right? And the sooner they hit the ground running, the better for everyone.
There it is right there. Guys, look, there's 3 very important things of what she just said. 1, you got to ensure duplication. Everything you do, everything you say is going to be duplicated with your new partner, period. Good or bad, it's going to be duplicated. So why not do the right things? That's what the 5 simple steps is about. It's a guide. You have this flyer right here. You just follow that. You got a guide. You'll never make a mistake. Duplication will happen. Okay. Now, what's the other thing? Guys, you got to make sure that not only duplication is taking place, but you got to make sure that those people get their first check as quick as possible, because keeping people in your business so that they don't leave and you have to replace them, guess what? Nobody likes to redo work. If you sign somebody up and they quit a day later, you got to work hard to replace that person. Okay. Why not keep that person and add a new person to that person, then add another new person to those 2 people you just recruited? We're going to be talking about that. That's what I'm leading up to. Okay, so one of the ways you keep people is to get their first check as quick as possible. We teach you how to make that happen, and it all starts with the duplication of these simple steps. Okay, so with that being said, the only thing they have to master is the one thing that you see on here. I know I keep bringing it up. I'm doing it on purpose, is deliver this message. It's step number 2. They just got to master the music to the ears message to where they own it. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to our podcast. We're not going to get into it here. But if you listen to the podcast, you'll see that we're talking about owning that music to the ears message. It's magical, it's clear, it's concise, it's short, and it tells that prospect exactly what it is you are offering them. That is powerful. That's one of the most powerful things that you'll learn in the 5 simple steps. Now, with all that being said, all that work for you, you signed up this new partner. You're trying to train them. Okay, let's say they're being receptive to the training. Okay, and let's say that they say, okay, yeah, I'm going to work on this message, and I'm going to call me tomorrow, and we'll set up a timetable to work on my list or whatever it is, however they're going to do their leads. Okay, and that's part of the process. That could be it. You know, you can have that conversation. Like if you sign them up on Monday and you provide immediate training on that Monday, and they say, call me back on Tuesday and let's talk about leads and how to generate leads and this and that, and I'll work on my music to the ears message Monday night and Tuesday until we talk Tuesday afternoon. You say, okay, that's fine. You schedule it, and guess what? You call them back on Tuesday, and the first thing that you're hit with, hey, I got a few questions for you. Then, guys, sometimes that's not a good thing. If they signed up, and then one of the things I would do, which I've done, I'd say, okay, well, that's not a problem, but let me ask you something. Did you have time to work on your message, your music to the ears message? If they say no, I got these questions before I wanted to work on that. You know what that tells me right away, guys? That I got a problem. Okay. Now, if I had them marked as a 7 or 8, which would be unusual, on my scale of ambition, right now in my head, they're dropping down to about a 5 or a 6. And you say, Rob, well, that's awful harsh. Why would you do that? Because history has shown me when they have questions after they've gone through the whole recruiting process, guess what? They're starting to backpedal. And Miss Marie, how many times have you signed people up on Monday and they were gone by Tuesday?
Well, sometimes those questions can be indicative of second guessing their decision to join the business. You get a little bit of that buyer's remorse happening. They've gone to the spouse, the significant other, whatever, said they signed up in this network marketing business, and they're getting you fell for one of those scams.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You spent how much?
There's a lot of things that happen once somebody joins a network marketing business. And it is unfortunate, but there is a relatively high percentage of the time that people join a network marketing company and then do nothing.
Yes. And so the reason I bring this up, responding to a new partner's questions, the reason I bring this up, the moment you hear on Tuesday, after you signed them up on Monday, and they say, well, I've got some questions before we go forward, guys, bells should be going off in your head. And the reason that Rob asked, let me ask you a quick question before we go into that. And they say yes. And I say, did you by some chance have time to work on your music to the ears message? If they tell me no, that tells me right away where they are. And it's usually because of what Miss Marie was talking about. Spouse, buyer's remorse, etc. So what does that tell? What does that do? That puts me in a different mode of operation, a different mindset, not a mad one, not an upset one. But history has shown me that I don't need to waste a lot of time on this whole situation. And you say, why? Because, guys, always remember one thing I left out a moment ago, not only getting their first check, not only ensuring duplications taking place, good or bad, in everything you do with your new people, but speed and urgency. Everything has to be speed and urgency. If you slow down in any process, you're teaching your people to do the same thing. And guess what? If you have 10 people slowing down, then guess what? 1 hour turns into 5 hours or 10 hours. Okay? Literally. Okay? It's a compounding effect. Speed and urgency in your organization is absolutely essential. Now, that doesn't mean that you're trying to push them out the door. It doesn't mean that you're trying to be rude. It doesn't mean that you're not listening to them. What it means is that Rob asked the right question right away. Because why? Because I've heard this before. I have an idea where this is possibly going. This is part of the speed and urgency, knowing that I got to keep that speed and urgency up, and it's imperative to my success. I know that I cannot afford to get caught into, and it's really not a social call. We talked and warned about social calls, right, Miss Marie? How these things can turn into a social call real quick. But guess what? It can also turn into a business call. You're like, wow, what do you mean? You can end up addressing legitimate business questions over and over. And this call could turn in from a 15, 20-minute call into a 2-hour call in no time, because you're trying to answer the questions and you're trying to save them because you've already signed them up. Who determines the success of their business? Not you. It's them. Who determines what steps they're going to take? Not you, them. So when you realize that you have no responsibility and you have no way of making or motivating them and making them do what they need to do, the better off you're going to be, which creates what? Speed and urgency. How does that do that? Because you're right away going to say, okay, I got potential problems here. Let's listen to the first few questions. Let's see how legitimate these things are. and then my ass is out of here because I've got to move on to the next person. I cannot spend 2 hours on the phone because what are they going to do? Okay, they may be a motor mouth, and if you spend 2 hours with them trying to answer their questions and keep them around, when they run into the same thing with their downline, they may have 4-hour conversations. Okay, and Miss Marie, we talked about before, and I've had it happen. I've done it myself like an idiot. I had an appointment. Let's say I met somebody at 2:30. I had an appointment at 3, whether it was on the call, whether it was in person, whatever. And because I got caught up in a conversation I shouldn't have, I ended up being late, and that person got pissed off, and they left. They weren't there when I got there, or they wouldn't answer the phone, whatever. That was my fault. I had to learn the hard way. Those people's time was important. I told them I'd be there, and their point of view was if I wasn't going to be there at 3 o'clock, they were not important to me, and that their time was valuable, and they were not going to wait on me. It was totally disrespectful to them. I get it. I accepted that. It was a hard lesson to learn, and I got so mad at myself. And that's a reason why, guys, you cannot allow this to happen to you, okay? So now we've got a point where in responding to the new partner's questions. Look, they may have legitimate questions. There's no doubt about it. But to be honest with you, a lot of the questions they're going to be asking you, they should already ask during the prospecting process, okay? There should be very few questions left if they actually went to the website, if they actually watched the videos, if they actually did all the things that you said they needed to do when they went to the website. Because typically company websites are going to have videos, training stuff, materials, all that, right, Ms. Marie? So covering all the subjects, right?
Yeah, most of the questions should already be answered. Oftentimes, here's the sense that I get when I have a new partner that has signed up, is ready to start, and comes in with a bunch of questions. It's almost like you're getting ready for a track and field race, right? You've got your runner set up in the blocks. They've already signed up. The gun's going to go off. It's time for them to go and start pursuing their dreams, pursuing the building of that business to achieve that income level, the time freedom, the new lifestyle they want to achieve. And the gun goes off and everybody else bolts out of the blocks. But your guy stands up and looks around and goes, which race am I running? How far do I have to go? How does this work again? It's just like, well, wait a minute.
I've already covered this with you. Why are you still standing there? Right? We went over this.
That's almost the sense you get, right? The gun goes off and they stand up and look around and go, what?
That's a great example. And it's so true. You are absolutely correct. That was awesome. I loved it. I hope you guys got that because, man, if there's not a clear example of what we're talking about, I can't think of one. All right. So here's the thing. What she's talking about is absolutely true. So let's talk about some of the questions they may ask. If they get caught up in the comp plan, you can say, hey, look, okay, and we're not going to try and cover every question. We're going to cover just the really challenging ones and the most common ones. If they say, well, look, I got some questions about the comp plan, you can say, look, you got to go back and watch the video. Guys, you got to keep doing that, okay? And they say, why? Don't you understand? No. I know 100 times 100 is 10,000. I know what I get paid on 10,000. I know the 10,000 group volume is a threshold of big time. That's all I need to know, okay? That's all I need to know. And if I have any questions, I can call the company. I would encourage you to do that, okay? And that's how you answer that if they start going into the comp plan. Well, how do I get to Brimble? How do I do this? How do I do that? And you need to call the company, okay? Because, guys, you'll be amazed at how many times in the beginning of my career, I'm not going to get off topic, I used to think that I had to know everything about the comp plan, okay? So I can explain to my downline how foolish I was. Okay, the only thing that mattered at that moment was I getting paid the correct amount. If I had any questions, I found out the easiest way to get the right answers. Guess what? It was the company. If I called the company and say, hey, I don't understand this, believe it or not, they had a department, Ms. Marie, that specialized in helping people understand the comp plan. If I say, hey, if I do this and this and this, they say, oh yeah, well, this is what this means. They make sure you had a comp plan copy in front of you, and they were more than happy to explain it to you. Okay. A lot of times one of the top 5 leaders would do videos, training videos of how to make money in the comp plan and explain it in great detail. Why do I need to do that? That's the reason why, guys, you got to defer to what? Only thing you got to be, the answer you should have, look, I know one thing, 100 times 100 is 10,000. I'm shooting for that. That's all I need to know. Okay. What about the bonuses? I don't care about the bonuses. What do you mean you don't care? And guys, you will have people that will do that will put you on the spot. You're supposed to be a leader. Don't let them play that game with you. Don't let them make you feel, don't let them manipulate your emotions or insult your intelligence. Look, you are a business builder. The more lean and clean you can be, the more effective you're going to be. Don't worry yourself about all the bull crap, okay? Master the 5 simple steps, stay focused, and just apply your efforts, okay? And insist that your downline do the same thing. If you set the example, duplication like that will happen. When they see the results, they're going to say, well, how can you argue with the results that Rob's getting? Okay, he's not being mean. He's just being, he understands speed and urgency. That's the reason why he defers to the tools that already exist, all right?
Well, in addition to the tools that already exist, one of the other things I like to tell my people back in the day was the best way to learn the comp plan is to experience it, which means you have to start moving volume, how it impacts you. You can go and look at the training videos, and you can go and research the written comp plan, and you can play those what if games with visions of rainbows dancing in your head. But until you actually put pedal to the metal and start applying the principles and implementing speed and urgency, using that music to the ears message, putting your message out in front of people and moving your business forward, it doesn't matter.
No.
The what if games are really just wasting your time. It's pie in the sky. Oh, you know, you're already thinking about how you're going to spend your first $1 million in that island you're going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get your first business partner signed up first. Let's get you your first customer first. Let's start the comp plan working for you before you go diving into all the nitty-gritty details of exactly how that comp plan works.
Yep. Absolutely. And guys, here on top of that, let me say this. You have to realize that they're going to ask a lot of questions that they can get on the website. Let's just make it clear, okay? So let's talk about another. How do I handle my new people? How do I train them? This and that. You know what? On Monday we covered that. I signed you up on Monday. We went through the training. This is what you do. What is it you don't understand? Okay, if they're not clear and concise with their response, why don't you talked about this and these 5 simple steps? Does it matter which order they're in? Does it matter this and that? What about the music to the ears message? What if they don't practice it and learn it? What if they want to change the words to it? Guys, these are very simple, straightforward questions. Once again, and you know, I've got to say this. I got to back up. I should have prefaced this whole thing by saying, when you get with a person on Tuesday, because they say they have questions, the thing is you have to say, look, I only got a half hour. You always in your follow-ups, you have the time frame. If you don't, speed and urgency goes down the tubes, okay? And if they tell me on Monday, Rob, I got questions, can you call me Tuesday afternoon? I'll say, sure, but I only got a half hour. Make sure you have them written down. So I should have prefaced this whole thing by saying that. And I apologize for not doing that. I just sometimes assume that you guys know this stuff. And so I wanted to back up and say that. Because, guys, they got to have it written down, okay? And a lot of times, Miss Marie, I learned the hard way. I'd say have the top 5 or 6 questions. I don't have time. A half hour does not give us enough time. It's going to be hard to get your top 5 or 6 questions in a half hour, okay? And the thing is, if they say, well, why do I only have a half hour? I need more than a half hour. Tell them the truth. Tell them I've got other people I got to follow up with. I've got a bunch of people in the funnel. I don't have time, okay? And you got to understand there's a lot of tools on the website. You know, go to the website, call the company. If they don't let them play the emotion game, as I said a moment ago, well, you're the leader. You're my sponsor, and it's your responsibility to work with me, to help me be successful. Guys, I've had people do that to me in the past before I knew better, okay? And the bottom line is that is not true. You have no responsibility to them at all. You have no obligation to them at all. You are a partner, an equal partner. You are there when they need you. What does that mean? That means that you can answer short, concise questions. That means you can point them to sources outside of yourself that provide the answers they need, okay? And it's imperative that when you sign them up that you constantly reiterate the points I'm making right now. Guys, if you're not listening to these podcasts, if you're not watching these videos, you're missing some golden nuggets here, because this is what makes the business go. This is what gives you freedom. Miss Marie, as we said before, some of the top leaders come across cold and uncaring. You know why? Because they learn these things hard way. They're not trying to be mean. Most of them are very nice people. but they realize that people will take advantage of them in their time if they allow it. So they realize they got to be short, to the point, and concise in their answers, and they got to defer to other sources of information. Guys, that's what you have to do. But if you're going to follow up and you tell them, have 5 or 6 of your top questions ready, I have a half hour. Guys, you got to stick with that half hour. And Miss Marie and I talked about it. Either use your phone, which has timers on them now, right, Miss Marie? And they have a ding, 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 or whatever, or train, whatever, or one of those old time mechanical egg things where it goes off ding, ding at a half hour. So that when that half hour comes up, they hear it. If you're on a Zoom call, if you're on a phone, ding, 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 ding. All right, our half hour's up. Okay, guys, you have to do that, because otherwise their questions are going to drag on, and they're going to go, Miss Marie, they could ask question number 1, which could turn into 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D before you ever get to question 2, right?
Well, and the other problem you run into also is they'll ask a question, but they'll give you a big story to go along with.
Yes.
And it's just like, just ask me the question already. Let's move on, because you have to keep in mind whichever way this is going, if it's you talking with your upline and asking questions, or you have somebody in your organization asking you questions, everybody has a limited amount of time. And the more successful you become in your network marketing business, the busier you are, because there are more people that you have to respond to.
Yes.
You're doing things like 3-way calls, you're hosting conference calls, you're responding to questions from groups of people.
Yes.
You are not the only one who has questions that need to be answered, and people need to understand that. And I am a big proponent of setting the timer. I am even so bad, some of the people that I know that start going off into Storyland, I just have like a noise I'll set off on my phone just to say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but I got to get ready for another meeting I've got in 3 minutes. So ask me your question real quick. I'll answer it. Then I got to go.
There you go. Smart. There it is. There it is, guys. And you've got to realize, look, they're going to ask you more times than not. The questions they're asking is because they're starting to backpedal. They're concerned. Now, you have some people that are super analytical. Do not let them steal your time and steal your energy. We talked about that in the previous episode. Guys, there are people like that that are super analytical. They mean no harm. This is the way they are. This is the way they're made. Engineers are like this. Scientists are like this. There's other professions that are like this, investigative type people, where they dig deep. And that's what they are. That's how they're made up. It's not that they're being mean. It's not that they're ignoring your statements. I go to the website. Guess what? Their nature, their very nature, they live and breathe digging deep into something until there's no place else to go. Okay? And so when they want you to call back on a Tuesday, they have legitimate questions. They can go so deep that you wouldn't even know where to begin to answer them. But you realize that there are people like that, but you have to handle them the same way. You know, communication is absolutely key. You have to say, look, I am not trying to be mean here. I am very busy. Because Miss Marie's right. She brings up a very good point. The bigger you get, the more time, you have less time. And your time management is absolutely critical. We did an episode on that. If you're going to be successful, time management is absolutely essential. You'll be amazed at how fast the 24-hour clock turns into 12 hours. You'll look up, and you still got to squeeze time for family and yourself in there. Okay? Guys, if you don't do this, speed and urgency is going to suffer. Duplication is going to suffer in a big way. And in addition to that, your personal life is going to suffer. And your mental and physical health will suffer right along with it. I'm telling you from past experience, you cannot be the answer man for every person. There is no way. Okay? There's nothing wrong with them having a few simple questions. You've got to limit it. I always limited mine to 5 or 6 top ones. And I tell them I got a half hour. That's all I have. I used to use, as we talked about before, Miss Marie, back in the day, the old mechanical egg thing, because they would go ding, ding. And I said, okay, time's up. But here's the thing. I would tell them, look, do not get off topic. If you're going to ask questions, you got to ask them clearly and concisely. And I'm going to give you a clear, concise answer. Because if you go off on a tangent and we don't get to the other ones, it's the half hour is up. It's up. Okay. And I tell them I am not being mean. I've got way too many people I got to follow up, but I do not have the time, especially since there's other sources that can help you out. Okay. And sometimes, Miss Marie, if I would think about it, a lot of times I had this written down, but I would say, hey, have you checked the other sources before we get started? You know what I'm saying? If they said no.
Especially the information gathering analytical types, point them to all the information, point them to the website, point them to the resources, point them to the file folder full of documents and those types of things to look at themselves. You don't need to spend the time regurgitating information that's easily available to them.
There it is right there. And especially since you went through this, quote unquote, you went through the prospecting and the recruiting process. As we said, they're totally different. But during the recruiting process, you're going to send them to the website. If, in fact, they did go to the website and they're aligned to you, when they get together with you for follow-up questions, one of the first things you should do is say, hey, did you ever go to the website? Okay. And if they tell you yes, and yet they still have these questions, what does that tell you? The chances are they're lying to you. Now, I hate to say that, but it's true, because if they did, especially as you start to hear their questions, you'll be like, well, wait a minute, that's on the website. If you went there and you said that you looked, guess what? It was there. Why did you not watch that? That tells me you're either too lazy or you didn't go there. Okay, what is this doing? It's giving me a mental picture of this person's attitude. They're wanting me. They didn't want to spend their time going to the website to watch these videos. Oh, no, it's too long. I only watched 10 minutes of it. Okay, so now you want to keep me on here for 2 hours instead of watching the video where you can scroll through if you want to. No. Okay, guys. It may sound cold. It may sound cold-hearted and harsh. Guys, it's not. It's not. The most valuable thing you have is time. And I'm going to tell you, speed and urgency is taking a beating if you allow this stuff to take place. You are not going to build a business. There's no way you're going to build a business if you don't have speed and urgency. It's how your business catches traction. It's how it goes in the exponential growth. Okay? If everybody's taking their sweet time, then I'll get to it. I'll get to it. What do you think your business is going to do? Okay? So, Ms. Marie, I think we covered it really well. We don't need to beat this to death. I mean, we go on and on about the types of questions they have. In other words, about the comp plan, about the how do they get paid,
organizational structure, their leadership line. I mean, you get all sorts of crazy questions. Yeah,
how do I handle problem? I mean, guys, it's basically the same questions over and over. There's really no new questions. You pretty much know what they are when you call them, okay? But you have to be kind and be patient and listen. But there again, remember that the website, that's the reason why the company puts up the website. That's the reason why they put that material there, is so that you don't have to deal with this stuff, okay?
And remember, again, too, the key is the duplication, right? So however you're responding to your new partner's questions, this is the same way they're going to respond to theirs. So if you end up spending an inordinate amount of time on the phone with them or talking with them, they're going to do the same thing with each of their partners, and you're going to waste hours and hours in your organization that should be spent in more productive manner.
That's right. Absolutely. And guys, as we close, okay, here's the thing. You got to remember, you're not trying to save this person. If they've already made up their mind, well, if they don't answer my questions, I'm not going to build this business. And sometimes they'll come out and say that. It's almost like they're throwing down the hammer. Well, if you don't answer my questions, if you don't work with me, then you're not a true leader. And if you're not a true leader, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, because the true leader wouldn't fall for that crap and that manipulation, right? You know what you're doing. You know what you're capable of doing. You know the right way to do this business. Don't allow a new person, no matter what position they hold in private life, to dictate to you what you are and what you aren't. Okay? The bottom line is that we're teaching you exactly what needs to happen to make this business go. Nothing more, nothing less. And sometimes you're going to come across as cold and uncaring, but guys, that's not what it is. You got to realize it's your future, your business at stake. Don't let them affect your business through their actions and their words. That's exactly what would happen if you allow them to manipulate you, right, Miss Marie? If you allow their words and their actions to hurt your feelings and to say, oh, okay, this one time, you have lost the battle right up front. Have some balls, stand up and say, no, you know what? This is a big time business and I don't have the time. I've got other people I got to follow up with, and I've got 30 minutes for you and I've got 30 minutes for them. Everybody gets the same, and there's a reason for that, speed and urgency. And if they don't like the answer, oh, well, they can always go someplace else and they can call the company and they can get their money back. And a lot of times, it used to be you can get a full refund. I know some companies gave you 75% back, whatever. But the bottom line is, the chances are you can get most of your money back. Okay, right, Miss Marine?
Yep, that is accurate.
Yep, so there you go. All right, guys, with that being said, as always, we have the free gifts, free, as I said, FREE, free. These free gifts are on our main website, 4 critical mistakes most networkers make and how to overcome them. And if you're making one or all 4 of these mistakes, it's literally eating away at the foundation that you're putting in place. And the 5 simple steps to networking success, we talk about those all the time. They make up the very foundation of the business building process. These 2 go together like peanut butter and jelly, as Miss Marie loves to say. You can't have one without the other. You combine these 2 together, you get 1 video, 1 audio, and 1 ebook with each one of these packages, all 3 of them. But when you combine the knowledge that you gain out of all 3 of those, you become a focused business building machine capable of doing wonderful things in this great business model. And the Zero to Networking Hero brings it all together. It's an unbelievable combination. Guys, you need to get that. It's free. Did I say it was free? I think I said it was free. All right, with that being said, we're going to hop off of here. Tomorrow's subject, if I'm not mistaken, is number 120. Is that correct? Yes, it is. And it's taking on your own organization. And that means if you don't know how to take control of your own future, your own business, guess what? We're going to talk about that in detail tomorrow. You don't want to miss that, because if you worked hard to put it together, why not own it? Right, Miss Marie?
Yep, looking forward to that one, 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
That's right. And if you will, share, like, comment on our various social media platforms. If you will, hit the little bell 2 times to follow us, to get notified when we upload new content and when we go live. And if you will, give us a thumbs up, Dancing Bear, Dancing Woman, all that other stuff. And we would really appreciate, we love that immediate feedback. All right, guys, with that being said, we're going to hop off of here. We had a great show today. Miss Marie, I look forward to tomorrow. You guys have a blessed day. We look forward to seeing you again very soon, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, themlmsolution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.